Let's build a house where love can dwell and all can safely live. A place where saints and children tell how hearts learn to forgive. Built of hopes and dreams and visions, rock of faith and vault of grace. Here the love of Christ shall end divisions. All are welcome. All are welcome in this place. All are welcome. of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkest nights, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. My life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. And every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Jay Olstead. I'm one of the board members here at this great place we call Prince of Peace Lutheran Church. And on behalf of the board of directors, it is our pleasure to welcome all of you to this wonderful celebration of the ministry of Pastor Paul Gauche. We especially... Should we start the wave again? I don't know. Okay. We especially welcome the online audience who may be doing the wave at home, who are not able to attend in person, but of course very much with us at this event. Now, to begin, we're going to do a little experiment for all of you. We're going to play a game we're calling Stand Up If. Stand Up If, okay? I'll make a statement, and you stand up if this statement applies to you. Stand up if Paul Gauche baptized me or my kids. All right. Very good. Stand up if Paul Gauche officiated at my marriage. You might already be standing up, but please and stay standing. Stay standing. Okay? Let's see. Stand up if Paul showed up in our hospital room when we needed help. Stand up if Paul officiated at a funeral for my family. Stand up if Paul preached a sermon that seemed to be just for me. Oh, we're not done. Keep standing. Stand up if Paul presided at a communion service I attended. Stand up if you've been on a mission trip with Paul. Yeah, we're now clapping, right? I love it. Stand up if you attended a marriage retreat with Paul and Nancy Lee and or a youth trip. Yes, yes. Look around. Look around. Now that we have almost everyone in the room standing, let's give Paul the standing ovation that he richly deserves. Thank you. You may be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Alan Bachman.
It's so good to be back here with everybody today. I haven't been here in a long time, and to see old friends and so many familiar faces it's heartwarming. And to be here for this occasion could not be better. To be a friend of Paul Gauche doesn't begin to define our relationship. He is my brother, comforter, listener, coach, partner, fellow traveler, faith guide, and, oh yes, friend. Paul has been with our family through many ups and downs throughout life, and one memorable time was when we traveled to the DR to work at Doulos to get it ready for all the young people who would benefit from that ministry. You might remember that one of our assignments was to dig up and pull trees and bushes, you know what I'm talking about, out of a field so that the kids would have a soccer field. And we didn't have the tools that we would have here. And we weren't really equipped to do it, but the local people helped us out and taught us how to get those trees out. And now, I assume, at their old campus, there would be a soccer field. So we learned a lot that day. Paul and I also traveled to New Orleans one time. Oh, he's already laughing. Where we shared enjoyment of great food, beignets at Café du Monde late at night, the culture, and of course, the great music. Have you ever laughed with Paul? I have many times. And I remember when we were sitting on the deck in the French Quarter looking out over the city, and I have no idea why or what kicked it off, but we started laughing and laughed so hard that we had tears rolling down our face. I'll never forget that. That was a very memorable moment. In terms of pastoral duties, Paul officiated at 2 of our boys' weddings and also baptized our daughter Hannah, who came from Korea at age 9. Some of you might remember that. And of course, those were joyous moments. but to have Paul part of them made them even more special. There was one more event that stands out in my mind. When our daughter Quincy, or as Paul calls her, Quinker, had a very serious surgery at age 8, Paul was there just before she went into the operating room. A prayer, a small touch, and a warm smile provided the comfort and the encouragement that we all needed on a very difficult day. I'll never forget that either, Paul. Paul wouldn't be Paul without Nancy Lee. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So Paul and Nancy Lee and Linda and I would meet for breakfast periodically, and we'd talk about life and raising a family and dealing with various kinds of things in our lives. And they were always such good listeners and supportive of what was going on. The four of us also belonged to a dinner club with some of you here, and we would go to rotating homes and have a great conversation with other friends and some terrific food. Finally, Paul and I were also working partners here at Prince of Peace. In addition to the daily tasks at hand, Paul was also my lunch buddy. We'd go to Hoban, and a coffee buddy at Caribou. Those of you who know Paul know that he was always up for that. In recent years, our lives have taken us in different directions, and we haven't seen each other as much as we used to. However, I know that the bond is still there. When we met up at a party this spring, it was so good to catch up with him, hear about his most recent project. It was so comfortable to come together again, chat, and share a big Paul Gauche hug. That's what it means to be a friend. So what has Paul meant to me? He's been my partner, my faith guide, brother, listener, comforter, supporter, laugh buddy, coach, and yes, friend. My life is truly enriched having experienced Paul's boldness, his creativity, his perseverance, his courage, and his faith. Thank you for being my friend. There's a song called Thank You for Being a Friend by Andrew Gold, and a couple of the verses kind of spoke to me. Here they are. Thank you for being a friend, traveled down the road and back again. Your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. And when we both get older, with walking canes and hair of gray, we got that part, have no fear. Even though it's hard to hear, I will stand real close and say, thank you for being my friend. Paul and Nancy Lee, I wish you well as you go with the flow of life, and I thank you for the many years of the friendship that we've had. And I look forward to sharing life with you in this next chapter too. Bless you.
do remember some times where we brought some kids to Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, Texas, Florida. And in those times, one of my memories, and again, you may not remember, but I wondered, how many kids were touched by God through those experiences? And then it was Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Ike, and then the floods in Minot a few years back. And we brought more adults and families along. And I wondered about how many kids, adult kids and real kids, were impacted by what God was doing in those experiences. And then I started reflecting back on my own life and our family and how you got to baptize our youngest, and then you got to marry her. Wonder with me, how many people do you think you baptized over all these years? How many people do you think you helped in the marriage process? And then most recently this year for us, you were officiating over my mom's funeral. And I wonder, all these years of you in ministry, how many families did you touch during the funeral of their loved one? And what a gift you have been, Paul Gauche, through all these seasons and for all these years. And I hope that in your age that you will be remembering some of those things. But more than that, what a gift you have been to us, our family, but also to this community called Prince of Peace for years and years and years. And I just look forward to, as you paddle off into the boundary waters of life, I wonder what God will continue to use you to do.
Hey, Paul, just want to say thank you for almost 30 years of friendship. And I've been thinking back to the early years on those trips we were blessed to take with our high school youth, traveling from one part of the country to the other, and how you were the minister at Mike and my wedding, speaking love and truth, listening to you just pour your wisdom into the children of this congregation. And most recently, the work we've done on the Welcome the Seasons books together. It's just been amazing to work with your creativity and just your heart for ministry. And I just thank you again for your friendship.
Reverend Gauche, you are the most fascinating man I have ever listened to. You've been wonderful to hear all these years. We'll miss you horribly and wish you well.
We are going to miss you so much. But I know where you live, and so that's one positive thought.
What a journey we've had together. We've all loved every minute of time with you, and you sharing your leadership and your love of God and your sense of humor, which we've always appreciated. And we just wish you every blessing in your next journey, and we know it will be enjoyable and hopefully relaxing and time with your family. So God bless you. We all love you. Take care.
Hey, Paul, it's Terry. Well, you know that. And I always wanted you to come into my cool place, but you never came. So I guess now that you're leaving, I'll let you off the hook. But take care, buddy. Love ya.
Paul, we miss you and we love you.
You know we're going to miss you.
and we wish you nothing but wonderful adventures from here on out. And please come and visit us, because we love you.
Good luck in your new adventure. We'll miss you. Bon voyage.
You've been a friend, you've been a colleague, done projects for you. It's just been a pleasure to have you around. As you can see, I'm sitting down in the basement by something that happens to be yours. It's a roll-top desk. I don't know if anybody informed you, but when you are no longer on staff, you have to pay rent.
You've been around almost as long as I have. But it's one of those things that I really will miss your humor, listening to the stories about all the hoonies, all those baptism classes that you officiated with the parents, and with those wonderful little babies. We were back here doing childcare for it, and if we had older siblings, we encouraged those siblings to splash your back. Sorry about that if you got splashed over the years, but that was us.
Will never forget the first moment when I met Pastor Paul, because I was sitting in a room just like this, ready for a worship arts planning meeting, and he came walking through the door, jumped on the table, and shook my hand and introduced himself. And I've realized that the reason that Paul makes such an unforgettable impression is actually because he really knows how to make people feel noticed and seen and valued. And Paul, I hope that I've learned that from you. So Paul, if I may, very best wishes for the next steps in your journey.
Oh, Paul Gauche, what can I say? It's been nearly 25 years of our partnership in ministry together. And it's been full of hoopla and hilarity, goodness and grace. You've walked with me through family deaths and deployments and more deployments, and I just have a grateful heart. Go forth and thrive, my friend. And there's always chocolate waiting for you.
Pastor Paul, as you come to the end of your ministry, I think about the day that we met, that luncheon in Byerly's when I was interviewing to be on staff at Prince of Peace. And I remember thinking to myself, I like this guy. I think we could be friends. And for once, I wasn't wrong. You have been such a gift as a partner in ministry. You have blessed people with your faithfulness, with your compassion, with your love, and with your faith. You have ministered to me, and you have been a gift in my ministry. I think about the times that we sent emails back and forth to hear laughter from one side of the hallway to the other. And we did that over and over again. And now I think about what a gift you're going to be as you move into retirement. So thank you. Thank you for your love, your faithfulness, your compassion, your diligence, your excellence in ministry. And I can't wait to see what it is that God has in store for you in the years ahead. Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for so often being my pastor. God bless you in the years ahead.
We were out shooting a video, and I had asked you to do a flip off a dock, and I asked you if you could do it, and you're like, I can do it. And this was for a sermon. So the whole point of the sermon was to show joy, and I'll never forget it. I'm in the water with a camera, waiting for you to take a jump and leap and do the flip, and you jumped, and you went with so much gusto that you didn't get fully over. But that's not the moment I remember, not the mistake. What I will always remember is when you came up out of the water, you had this smile, this like 10-year-old boy smile that showed sheer joy in the midst of something you knew that you didn't land.
Wow. Well, I'm Carrie Snyder. Thanks for being here today. And first of all, I think it goes without saying, let's thank Ethan Miller. Ethan took care of creating that amazing video. And thankfully, I've already watched it 10 times, so I wasn't going to cry while I was watching it, knowing I'd have to come up here. But I hope it gives you at least just a sliver of an idea of what Paul's ministry has brought to so many people. So, I've had the privilege of knowing Pastor Paul Gauche for almost 30 years. First as a volunteer with First Light in the high school ministry, and then as a colleague. So when Hant Hansen asked if I'd say a few things on behalf of the church staff about work life with Paul, my first reaction was, thanks for asking, but that's not going to work for me. If you don't know that phrase, just know that that's one of the top 10 sermons that Paul preached, in my opinion, so thanks for that. I am more than happy to share of how Prince of Peace is a better place because of Pastor Paul. So Paul, you have brought so much joy and energy these last 28 years. I mean, you're a 7 on the Enneagram, which if you aren't up to speed on the personality distinguishing tool, the Enneagram, know that the 7 is the enthusiast. I mean, seriously, who jumps in a lake for a church video, fully clothed, knowing they have one take to make it happen, and then pops out of the water with that huge smile? So thank you, Paul. Thank you for always having your door open to us. It's no mistake that your office is the first one in the staff hallway, an office that all of us have passed by thousands of times. You never cease to have a greeting, a hilarious joke, some really sweet tunes playing, or the latest cool thing on your Apple Fitness app to share with us. And when we needed it, you're there for a quick check-in or how you doing? Your creativity, in writing and storytelling and music. It's been inspirational. From your recent Welcome the Seasons book to sharing the piano pieces you've composed for each grandchild. And just so you know, all that piano music in the video is courtesy of Pastor Paul. It's pretty awesome, right? And Paul's the kind of guy where, just so you know, we have staff chapel every week, and so often he would just set the mood by sitting down at the grand piano before we walk through those doors and just blessing us with the most beautiful, relaxing music. So thank you for that. Paul, you've always chosen to create space for everyone, and with that, a sense of encouragement. I can recall the first time I had the chance to serve as an on-call care minister. Someone had left a voicemail that first day, the first day I was scheduled, and it was a man whose wife was dying, and I really wasn't quite sure what to say and how to answer all his questions. So I stopped by your office, and it was a cold January morning, and you helped me think about how to best walk alongside that man. You didn't give me advice, you gave me support. And when you finished, you said, "You've got this." You've ministered and you've been present to all our staff in the most challenging moments, whether they were work-related or personal. And when our path has taken us toward uncharted waters, you helped us negotiate them. You've been an anchor. I think it's pretty evident from this how well respected you are, how much you are appreciated, and how much you are truly loved. I'd like to thank Nancy Lee and Sarah and Soren and all the grandkids for sharing your husband, your dad, your grandpa with all of us. Trust me when I say he is so proud of each of you, because we see the photos and the videos as he pops into our office and showing us the latest ones, and he always has the biggest smile on his face. So Paul, as you travel on, I've noticed the irony that your recreational transportation of choice, the canoe, doesn't have an anchor. But when we think about that more deeply, I think that's you. You're our anchor. You're our pastor, our friend, our rock-steady guide who keeps us from drifting or being pulled in the wrong direction. Even when we didn't realize it, you gently kept us where we needed to be. And now it's time for you to pull up anchor on this journey and steer the boat towards your next adventure. So thank you on behalf of all of those who've had the privilege of working and serving with you. And as you paddle on, know that we, the collective staff of 28 years at Prince of Peace Church, are absolutely certain that you've got this. Thank you.
I bet you're nervous. The amount of power is just amazing. As we started to do some research for this event, we became aware of something that had been hidden and kept a secret in Paul's life for 40 years. He'd been working on a musical. In secret, hadn't necessarily planned to share it with anyone, but we found it. And so if you're gonna have a musical, you have to have hand motions, okay? So we're first of all gonna learn the hand motions for the big finale to the Paul Gauche musical, okay? So get your hands ready, are you ready? It goes like this, 1, 2, 3, clap, clap. 1, 2, 3. Clap, clap. 1,
2, 3, clap, clap. 1, 2. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it there, hold it there. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay. That's exactly how it went every Wednesday night around here. So now to get to the musical. This musical is called Welcome to the Reasons. It's a lot like Welcome to the Seasons, only it's about a fictitious couple living in a small town in southern Minnesota who have 2 small children, and they're considering what life has in front of them. Let's call them Bob and Anita. Bob reason, Anita reason. Just had to happen, you know? And so we're going to take a little glimpse through the music of Paul Gauche into what life is like for the last 40 years for Bob and Anita Reason. And I just happen to have them off to my right here. And we're going to catch a little dialogue of what their life is like. So dream along with us, Bob and Anita.
Hey, Bob! I got this in the mail today. I think you're gonna like it. Frederick Buechner runs a diploma mill in Florida. And this seminary, by correspondence, sounds perfect for us. We wouldn't have to move to the big city, and we could both become pastors in about 6 months. What do you think?
Something seems a bit off with that idea. Who has ever heard of both a husband and a wife being pastors?
Yeah, you're probably right. Too good to be true. But I'm feeling called to this, just like you.
A call indeed. But we have to remain focused. In order to make this work, we're going to need to know 4 things. Who are we? What are we doing here? How will we get there? And I forget the other thing.
What? 2. What?
No, that's
2,
not it.
3. We need your wisdom. We need your courage. Search our hearts for the truth. We need your wisdom. We need your vision. Help us see ourselves as we are. Shine your light in secret places, hidden in our hearts. Give to us a new awareness, and we need to know who we are. We need your wisdom, we need your courage. Search our hearts for the truth. We need your wisdom, we need your vision. Help us see ourselves as we are.
Hey, Anita, this seminary thing has gone a lot better than we thought.
Yeah, it's like someone is writing a script. And we're part of the action.
Well, this is a musical. That's kind of how this works.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I have this gadget called a script-o-matic, and I just throw a few ideas in there, and it comes out a script just like this.
Is it like artificial intelligence?
Hey, we're not supposed to know about that yet.
Well, the nice part about a script is that you know the outcome, but how do we move forward without knowing the outcome?
Well, I suppose that's the hard part, being willing to step into whatever God has for us.
Just like Abraham, when God said go, he went.
If he hadn't stepped into what God had in store, I think that things would be a lot different.
2, 3. We are willing to make a decision to live within God's hand, turning all things over to the care of God again. We are willing to look to a future
big news. I got the phone call. They want us both to come.
Who ever heard of a church calling 2 pastors at once?
Wow, moving to Burnside to work together. Do you think this is a good move?
I don't know. They have this worship and music as a piece of work.
Yeah.
There's a bigger applause line than I was expecting. But don't worry. As pastors, we really don't have to talk too much.
No. Well, I have a second piece of good news. Are you ready? The realtor called and she said they have the perfect house in the perfect neighborhood.
Our 2 little ones are the perfect age to move, and we're moving to the perfect house.
Not a house, Bob. A home. We're going to build a home inside this new house.
Everybody needs a little space of their own, a special place where love can go. People really ought to have a home where the heart is. Every little girl and every little boy should know the peace of a home filled with joy and have a place to be at rest at the end of the day. Opportunities are knocking at the front door. Will you answer now? Are you counting the cost to make a difference in your world? Can you be the hands of the carpenter from Nazareth? Will you build a home where the heart is?
Well, Bob, here we are. 40 years later.
Whoa. Hold up. Can we do that? Just jump ahead 40 years?
This is a musical, Bob. We can do whatever we want.
Okay. Is this the point in the musical where we become pensive and reflective and think out loud about how our life went and then sing a song about it?
Why, yes, Bob. And just think how much has happened since we were married on July 31st, 1982. Do you realize that's only 15,298 days that we've been married? But who's counting?
All I can say is I had no idea God's dream was so far beyond our own.
Your dream was bigger, better, greater than what we imagined. And your plan was richer, fuller, deeper than we thought it could be. You heard our prayer, you brought us here, above and beyond our wildest dreams. Far and away, much better than we've had. Over and over, your love was a big surprise, and we saw it in each other's eyes.
In looking back, we've learned a lot about what it means to be married.
Hey, we should write a book about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll gather our 40 years of lived experience together. We'll take a bunch of couples on regular retreats to Nanu Retreat Center.
We'll learn from each other, we'll write it all down and put it in a book.
Nah,
that'll never happen. Hey, what are you drinking?
It's the new energy drink called Vim and Vigor. I have one for you too. It's called Hoopla and Hilarity.
Love keeps bringing us back to life. Hearts that stopped are beating again. We were dead, alive in Him. He's bringing us back to life. The one who is giving, the one who is saving, the one who is loving is bringing us back to life. Love keeps bringing us back to life. Hearts that stopped are beating again. We were dead, alive in Him. He's bringing us back to life. What a great surprise! Life begins again. We have been revived by the Spirit who lives within. Love keeps bringing us back to life. Hearts that stopped are beating again. We were dead, alive in Him. He is bringing us back to life.
And now it's your opportunity for the big finale. Ready with the hand motions? It goes, love comes bubbling up. Love comes bubbling up over me. When my life seems dry and there's no rain in sight, and love comes bubbling up once more. Love comes bubbling up. Love comes bubbling up over me. When my life seems dry and there's no rain in sight, thank God love comes bubbling up. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Shake it out. Thank you.
They make the kids go after that. I'm Sarah Pickell. I'm Paul and Nancy Lee's daughter, and it's so good to be here. This is such a special opportunity to celebrate this great moment of 40 years, and specifically, Dad, 40 years of ministry. In many ways, 40 years of anything for someone in my generation is a little hard to reconcile. Younger generations move and change in ways that don't always allow for a career of 40 years or even one place of work for 28. So what a gift, Papa, to look back with you on your years of ministry and to celebrate all the good that they have held. It is so good to be here. And if I'm doing the math right, when you started here at Prince of Peace 28 years ago, you were my age now. 38, which, kind of makes you think, right? So life has a wonderful cycle to it. These past 40 years have held so much, and each of the unique contexts my parents have served the church in has impacted my life profoundly. I especially now give thanks for Prince of Peace and this specific community of believers. This is where I came of age and grew in my faith. I think the smell of Devani's pizza on Wednesday nights in the CLC is seared into my brain. But so are the camps and the musicals and the tours and the small group leaders, the Keeping the Promise events, my confirmation, the rhythms of worship. When I think about all these memories, I rejoice as each
is an expression of faith in action. The beauty of a community of people committed to Christ and therefore called to live differently. Prince of Peace, I give thanks to you and for you. Thank you for raising me in the faith, for making Christ's name known to me, for showing me his love and teaching me how to follow Jesus. But I wouldn't have been in this place, a Prince of Peace, without you, Paul and Nancy Lee. There's no doubt that you have played an important role in shaping and guiding this community that so greatly shaped and guided me. Your ministry in this place has been an example and an encouragement. Specifically, when I think about my dad, I think this. My dad, Paul Gauche, has been telling the truth all his life. He has been telling the truth in sermon and song, in books and at bedsides, with language and with love. He has been telling the truth to you and to me, and by telling the truth, he has proclaimed the gospel of Jesus Christ. What is the gospel if not telling the truth? Telling the truth of who we are, of who God is, of what Jesus means to us and to the world. Paul has done this with creativity and joy and love, and we are all better for it, knowing the gift of being created in God's image a little bit better. I'd like to share a quote from one of my dad's favorite authors, Frederick Buechner, who I don't think totally ran a diploma mill in Florida, but maybe. Anyway, Buechner is reflecting on Moses' words offered as the people of God are about to transition or move from a period of 40 years, a time in which they had encountered struggles, but also received God's provision, and now into a new period of the Promised Land. He says this: "The final secret, I think, is this, that the words, 'You shall love the Lord your God,' become in the end less a command than a promise. And the promise is that, yes, on the weary feet of faith and the fragile wings of hope, we will come to love him at last, as from the first he has loved us. Loved us even in the wilderness, especially in the wilderness, because he has been in the wilderness with us. He has been in the wilderness for us. He has been acquainted with our grief, and loving him, we will come at last to love each other too, so that in the end, the name taped on every door will be the name of the one we love. And these words which I command you this day shall be upon your heart, and you shall teach them diligently to your children, and you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you rise. And rise we shall, out of the wilderness, every last one of us, even as out of the wilderness Christ rose before us. That is the promise, and the greatest of all promises. Papa, you have taken that command, 'You shall love the Lord your God,' and offered it back to us as a promise. And for 40 years, not one day less, you have taken the work seriously of teaching those words to all of God's people, so that they might be upon our hearts too, even as they are on yours. You have offered us the promise and shown us the way to life. Well done, good and faithful servant."
All right. Well, I'm Soren Gauche, Paul Gauche's favorite son. I don't need to add the next part that I'm his only son, but it's all the difference. The one other thing I wanted to say is mullets are back. So, in your retirement, because you don't have to be that cleaned up, it's coming back, so. But anyways, I can't believe we're here. I really can't. A lot of joy and a touch of melancholy as we celebrate the retirement of a man who is not only my father, but a dedicated servant of God and his son, Jesus Christ. Pops, you've touched the lives of so many with your unwavering faith, love, and compassion, not only for your craft, but your mission and community as well. You've outlasted countless coworkers, a couple church renovations, and other changes, but you failed to outlast one thing. It's a tractor tire that's on the park out there. I played on that when I was a kid, and now my kids, CDLC, get to play in that, so I think it'll outlast everybody. So one thing, and I've heard a couple of them already, but we're going to tap into my inner Paul Gauche here for a moment, so hold on. Does it look all right? All right. With a start date of November 1st, 1995. That's 28 years, 8 months. Hold on, I gotta scroll my phone. That's 344 months. 1,495 weeks and 5 days. That's 10,470 days. It's 251,000 hours plus. It's 15 million minutes. It's 906,608,000 seconds. And if I had a penny for every one of those seconds, we would have done this a long time ago. So I look back on your journey as a pastor at Prince of Peace, I'm in awe of the countless lives you have touched, the profound impact you had on your community. Your dedication to spreading the message of God's love and grace has been inspiration to all of us. Early mornings spent crafting sermons to late nights counseling those in need. You have poured your heart and your soul into your ministry, leaving behind a legacy of faith that will undoubtedly endure generations to come. Your commitment to serving others and your unwavering trust in God's plan has been a guiding light for us all. But beyond your role as a pastor, you've been an example of a loving husband to Mom, a devoted father to Sarah and myself, and a hilarious and gracious papa to your grandkids. And this next line is tough, because you're truly my best friend. Your wisdom, your example, your gentle spirit, and your made-up words and sayings like katabundis, bunach kichnas, and I never get this one right, but bedorkulator snarkle fratzer. Spell check did not have fun with that. It's all enriched our lives in ways words cannot express. As you embark on this new chapter called retirement, I want to express my gratitude for the countless sacrifices you have made, the unconditional love you have shown us. You've been a pillar of strength and a source of wisdom and a beacon of hope for me and our family. While your official title is Pastor Paul has come to an end, your ministry of love and service will continue to shine brightly. And as you enter the new season of life, I pray you find rest, renewal, and endless opportunities for joy and fulfillment. I'm immensely proud of the person you are and the legacy that you have created. God has blessed you abundantly, and I pray he will continue to do so in the years ahead. May you continue to be a blessing to others wherever this new life may lead you. Congratulations. I'm proud of you.
There's one left. Where? I'm so sorry. I didn't know this was still going on. I'm just helping move some boxes, and I think we forgot an important one, apparently. So, gosh, you wouldn't mind if I opened it right here, would you? Well, shall we? All right. Let's see what's in the important stuff box. I thought we got all the boxes. I really did. Oh, well, there you go. All right, it's gone up here. Let's see. Oh, there's some good stuff in here. Really good stuff. I can't believe you're going to leave this behind. I have Paul's first sermon. What a gem. Oh, my goodness. Let's see what else is in here. What other treasures? Oh, well, you know Paul did a lot of baptizing, or dipping, as he liked to call it, right? We have water from the first baptism. He did. You might want to rethink keeping this. Just a thought. Let's see what else we have. Paul is also very renowned for using props in his wedding sermons, and tea bags. Yes, he loved to use tea bags. He loved the matcha maker one, I know, and that was always a good one. They apparently changed from matcha maker to sweet and spicy matcha, so I don't know what that does to your sermon, but okay. Let's see what else we have. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Well, that's weird. There's like two, looks like tests. They're not like, I don't think they're COVID tests, but, well, whatever it is, he's positive. There's a backup test, 100%. 100% positive. Let's see, what else do we have here? Well, of course, you know he had a rather iconic hairstyle when he first came to Prince of Peace, and guys, I don't know how to tell you this. It was a wig. It looked so natural. Soren, you have options apparently, so there you go. Oh, what else do we have in here? Oh, a note from the desk of Ruby Linder, who is first administrative assistant at North Emmanuel Lutheran Church. She says, "Dear Pastor Paul, please forgive me, but I cannot in good conscience include your request for a new motorcycle in the church newsletter. Sincerely, Ruby." Wow, okay. Glad you saved that. Let's see. Oh, and then, of course, you know that Paul ran for decades. He ran daily. And we have his first running shoes in here. Look at this. How special. How truly special. Oh, my goodness. And then, he did have a collar that he wore when he first started in the ministry. And so, this has an engraving on it. I wonder, it's something probably really special, very biblical. Prevents fleas and ticks for 30 days. I mean, he is a dog person. This tracks. Let's see what we got here. I want to note Eugene Peterson, okay, author of the Message Bible. And let's see, what does it say? Paul, I know it's you in the car at the end of my driveway. Just come inside already before it gets creepy. The beginning of a beautiful friendship. Oh my goodness. Let's see, what do we have? A parking pass for, he did spend, you know this, he's gone to the hospital numerous times to make visits, to be with people in really, really tough times. And so I gave him a parking pass, but really? Like, you took some Jell-O with you? Like, this can't still be good. That's not healthy. All right, what else do we have? A Nana Boujou postcard. Oh, Nana Boujou, up north, where they do the marriage retreats and everything. It's, "Dear Paul, we're excited to have you join us up here In the meantime, we need to tell you that the other day, one of our staff was hiking the Superior hiking trail, and they came across the strangest thing. It was a squirrel. It had something stuck around its tail. It looks like a wedding ring. We, of course, thought of you immediately and wondered if this is your squirrel friend and maybe even your ring. He won't leave the area, so maybe you can investigate when you get here. All right, first order of business. And then, well, we know Paul likes to cook. Fantastic cook, wonderful host, and we have a set of silverware here. There's always room for one more, because good meals become great meals when they're shared. That tracks. Let's see, we have a bookmark. Oh, it's a beautiful little bookmark with a Bible verse on it from, yes, the oft-quoted verse from Paul Gauche from the book of Hezekiah 4:14. God helps those who help themselves. Paul, I'm pretty sure there are people who are still looking in their Bibles trying to find this. They didn't know you were kidding. Let's see, we've got, what else? Paul is a prolific writer. I always wondered how your hands didn't get cramps in them. All right, that's good. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have a Franklin planner. I don't know what that's about. All right. What else do we have? Just a few more things. I have, look at this, some pretty white gloves. Oh, and look, little squeezy flashlight. This one still works. Like Paul Gauche, it shines bright and it lasts. Well, I don't know what the squeezy lights and the white gloves would be for, but I just have this weird urge. I don't know, I can't even explain it. I just kind of want to do a little clap burst. What is that about? I don't know. All right, one last thing here I see. It's just a page with a number on it, 22,569. Well, we know that Paul Gauche loves nothing more than to play around with numbers, to figure out numbers, to rearrange them, to find out how many things are in things, and find connections. So this makes perfect sense, friends. This absolutely makes sense. It is simply the number of baptisms, weddings, and funerals he's performed, divided by 88 keys on the piano, of course, multiplied by steps taken in between the worship center and the Christian Life Center, plus the grams of caffeine in a grande Starbucks coffee, multiplied by number of coffee shop meetups he's had, add to that the number of Thriver groups he's led, divide by the number of songs he's written, and of course, multiply all of that by Enneagram number 7. See? Perfect sense. Well, I gotta say, as we depart from here, Paul, I gotta say, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room left in this box. So I think there's a lot of room for more mementos for all of the adventures that you have coming. So on behalf of everyone at Prince of Peace, we want to thank you for years and years of inspiration and insight, fun and frivolity, vim and vigor, and of course, hoopla and hilarity. Thank you. On to the next chapter.
Too much fun. Paul Gauche, I know you have always challenged your inner Lewis Clark adventurer. So we're going to just shift metaphors here to Lewis Clark, but think of the core of discovery. Think of going off the map. Think of undaunted courage. I believe the source of all of that Wanderlust started when we attended a ministry gathering with Pastor Mike Voss when we first started here, where we were challenged to think about the church and explore off the map. What would the church look like if it didn't stay on this map and things we knew? And so we've gone off the map a couple of times together in our years. We met at Luther Seminary through our dear mutual friend Billy Webb, and nothing has ever been the same since. I have never known Paul doing anything but ministry from seminary to this day, kind of big for us. But the joke for me was that I could be a pastor, but I could never marry one. Until I met Gauche. And then, alas, it was you. So I have a gift for you, and I'm just wondering if you'd come up and put it on for the folks here today. And just watch out for the squirrel. So I'm giving Paul a life jacket. It's from our family to Paul Gauche. And I just want you to try it on and zip it up, see if it works there. And I want to say 3 things related to life about this life jacket, all right? One of the words associated with a life jacket is buoyancy. Buoyancy, the ability to somehow float in water. And this is a PDF, personal flotation. Did I say that right? Device. PFD. Okay, it's a PFD. Personal flotation. And you know what I love about this? If you're turned down in the water, it'll automatically turn you over to go face up. These are amazing life jackets. So he doesn't have to try it. He doesn't even know. Okay, all right, Gauche. But you all know, and Gauche, focus. Okay. You guys all know that Paul loves metaphors and words and meanings and definitions, and we've lived with that in our family all of our lives, ad nauseum, can I just add? So I'm going to give you some definitions of buoyancy. Optimistic and cheerful in disposition. What a buoyant personality. Vigor, strength, enthusiasm, the ability to remain strong and joyful despite challenges, vibrancy, even jazziness. So I'm certainly hoping there's jazz piano lessons ahead for you. But you have displayed an unusual amount of buoyancy in ministry over the past 40 years. You have framed and you have reframed every moment of our history in ministry. Because we have had opportunities before us that were just brilliant, and we've had just been face down, facing the ground in despair. And God has somehow put on this life jacket and turned your face up when I could do nothing but face the ground. And we are just so grateful for that gift that God's given you of being a buoyant human being. You are adaptable, and on the map and off the map, you seem to find a way that we can go forward, and you're totally trustworthy. And that's why you've said things about every place we've been. Gosh, I've never worked a day in my life. Or like, I can't believe I get to do this with these people. Every time you put on this life jacket, I want you to thank God for your buoyancy and the way you stay afloat with your face always facing up. So there's just 3 things I want to say about this life jacket, because you are a 3 guy in your sermons. So the first thing I want to say about Paul Gauche is he's a life pastor. And the majority of time as a pastor you've spent here at Prince of Peace. But we want to remember a place called Central Lutheran that trained you and framed you. We want to remember a place called North Emmanuel that kind of gave us the best start we could ever have together. We want to remember a place like Our Savior's in Faribault that is just more than remarkable to us. And we want to remember then this place, Prince of Peace, where you have spent the majority of your ministry. Even when I was like, isn't it time to leave? Paul would keep saying, yeah, I still just love it there. I still just love it there. So every church that has called you vocationally, you've made a covenant to be their life pastor. You've been strong, vigorous, joyful. You've brought each of these congregations buoyancy, and you've always kept their faces facing up. From ancient words in every proclamation to faithfully administering the sacraments in life transitions and sacred moments, from marriage retreats to Boundary Water trips to Apostle Islands to Holden Village to Wapo Bible Camp to everything over and over again, you've been a life pastor. And literally and figuratively, you have put on your life jacket with these people and invited people to put on their life jackets and led them in and through the water and off the map into adventure, like this one. I think I have a slide of this one, right? Well done, good and faithful servant, leading us off the map, but always helping us wear a life jacket. Secondly, first he was a life pastor, and now he's a life papa. Sarah and Soren, I think you covered that so well. Thank you for doing that for us today and surprising your dad with those. But you have been a life papa, and you have 6 hoonies that adore you, and hopefully there will be times and canoe trips to take them off the map. There is a generativity that passes from you into generations before you and after you. And we have just loved being together with you. Older and younger generations, you've gifted each of them. And so we're going to celebrate your papa-ness with us with ongoing delight. And finally, you've been a life partner. If it's half as good as the half we've known, here's hail to the rest of the journey. And let's promise to wear our life jackets, because sometimes when we go out canoeing and kayaking, we forget our life jackets. But we're going to wear our life jackets together. And there's a prayer that I'm going to invite you to pray with me as I pray it out loud for us that Paul and I prayed on our wedding day. And so gather yourselves in and let's pray this all together for wherever we are in our lives together. Oh God, you have called your servants to ventures of which we cannot see the ending, by paths as yet untrodden, through perils unknown. Give us faith to go out with good courage, not knowing where we go, but only that your hand is leading us and your love is supporting us. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Now, Paul, before we give you a few moments to address us all and say a few comments, we do have...
Really?
Yeah, you get to say some things. On behalf of Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, we'd like to present you with a special gift, and it's our hope that you will be able to get regular use out of this gift. As you direct your attention to the back... This gift is being portaged to the front by your good friend and Boundary Waters buddy, Mr. Greg Ash. Be careful. On behalf of Prince of Peace, thank you, Paul Gauche. This is our gift to you.
Hey, just take a quick second, turn to your neighbor and say, is this going to be over pretty soon? Go ahead and do that. It's 27 point, but it is 10 pages, so just do the math. I've said this so many times in moments that are not quite near what I'm feeling right now, but it's like my head is exploding right now with a million thoughts. My body just filled with so many feelings. This is a generous, generous moment. And I'm so grateful that you are here. My heart is so full. It's so full. People have been asking me for weeks, and in the last week, in the last days, how are you? And I honestly, all I can say is that I'm full. I've hardly eaten anything today, and I'm just full. So thank you, friends, thank you, every one of you. From the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful. I do want to say, self-deprecation aside, this is indeed a party for all of us. As Paul Dean generously spoke this morning, and it's been my wish, this is really a party about what God has done in this place. Using every hand, every heart, every voice, every one of us, every life, the kingdom of God has come into sharper view because of what God has done in us and our willingness to do all of this together. However, I was asked, would you like a few minutes at the end to say a few words? And I have to tell you, it was a bit of an existential crisis for the preacher in me, because for the life of me, do not know what a few minutes is. And then they said, well, can you keep it to 5 minutes? And that's when I said, thanks for asking, but that's not going to work for me. Friends, thank you all for coming. To those who are here in this sanctuary and those who are joining us online, this is indeed a party for all of us. It was years ago when the door on Prince of Peace was spinning quite freely, and people were coming and going, and there were those of us on staff who were like, who was that? And we just honestly did not know, because people came and went so fast. And it was one afternoon, Hant and I were just sitting together, and Hant said, you know what this place does not do very well? This place does not do goodbyes very well. And we sort of made this pact that day that we were going to be intentional, thoughtful about that, because every person that we have relationship with in our life deserves the moment of fullness to know who they are and acknowledge what they've done. And we've all done that together. And I thought, hey, it would be fun to get together on the 30th of June and celebrate what we have all done together during these last 28 and a half years. So I'm so grateful for all of it. My heart is so very full. I'm grateful for friends near and far. I don't know if I haven't seen anybody from North Emmanuel, but they may be watching. I do know that there's quite a contingent here, my brothers and sisters from Our Saviors. Wow, we had some time together, didn't we? We really did, and I'm so grateful. Dear friends who have put this whole time together, the planning team, I just can't say thank you enough. For my colleagues here who have just, I'm not quite comfortable with mullet yet. I prefer to call it hockey hair, but because my son has given me courage to say mullet, I think I can go with that. But I'm so grateful, dear friends near and far. Greg Ash, who brought this ship in, this North Star canoe. I'm so grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful for Alan Bachman. Alan, for being here. So grateful that you're here. My dear friend, Bob McIntyre, and his wife, Lisa, my college roommate. I can say that I would not be here if not for Bob McIntyre's modeling of what it looks like to want to be a pastor. He's a mentor, he's a friend, and I'm deeply grateful for him. And our friends from nearer, Matt and Kathy Vollen, who are here. Just wave your hands quick, Matt. Where are you? There you are, Matt and Kathy. We have Kathy and Nancy Lee, lifelong friends, both pastors in the Moorhead area. Years ago, Matt said to me something I've never forgotten. He said, Paul, if you love them, they will trust you. If you love them, they will trust you. Friends, our time together here at Prince of Peace has been a celebration of love and trust every step of the way. I'm so grateful, and I want you to hold on to that, and I'll come back to that in just a moment. I want to say thank you to my colleagues. You've already heard this. I've often said, honestly, I haven't worked a day in my life. I've never, ever seen this as work, and I acknowledge that not everybody gets to say that. I understand that, and I'm sitting with you in that. But my wish is that we would have these kinds of moments. So much of that is because of the teamwork that's been created here, the collaboration on this staff, these people. Those of you who call Prince of Peace your home, you are so blessed to have people leading alongside of you who just love each other, take care of each other, and collaborate that. From the tech team, who make us look better and sound great, to the family ministry team who constantly reminds us to be a kiddo at heart. From one end of the hallway to the other, top to bottom, I say thanks for embodying the ancient words of Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. This I know because of the staff that's here. And the staff that is coming to this place, Prince of Peace, is in really, really good hands. Paul Dean is in the building. Paul Dean, wave your hand. There you are. Thank you, brother. It was just over 30 years ago that Nancy Lee discovered you at Luther Crest Bible Camp in Alexandria. I loved that your hair was down to here, brother. I love that one of our first times together, you went into the freezer. You got ice cream. It was like 7:30 at night. The kids were like heading to bed. And there you and I and Nancy Lee and Matt and Kathy Vollen, we're in the kitchen. We're all eating out of one ice cream container with spoons. That was dope, brother. That was really good. And then we brought you on staff at Our Savior's in Faribault. What a marvelous time. I told Nancy Lee last night on a walk, I just said, I just remember that moment. I remember talking with Paul Dean and I am so excited to work with that young man. So excited. Young man. But Paul, I have an apology to make, and this has weighed on me for 3 decades, so buckle up, baby, here it comes. You were from Texas. You were wondering about the legendary Minnesota winters and what it would be like to live in Faribault in those days. What would that be like? So I told you to go to Napa Auto Parts. And I told you to get some winter air for your tires. You can tell I have so much grief over this. I said, just ask for winter air. They will help you out. And you did. You did. I said, that brother is teachable. Right there. The look on your face when you came back to the office was priceless. I've never forgotten that. Sorry, not sorry. But Paul, we've watched each other grow. We've watched our families grow. We watched our cooking skills grow. We've watched our ministry grow. We've watched each other grow. So Paul, thank you. Thank you for the last 30 years, and thank you for the last year. Because it was a year ago this week, you sat with me on our deck And I said, my goal for the next year is to make this year the most effective year for you that I can help make it. And you in your generosity just looked at me and you said, my goal for this next year is to help you have the best last year of your ministry. Well done, good and faithful servant. Julie Klein, thank you for being who you are and what you do. Your faithful, generous, grace-filled leadership is a gift to this community of faith. And Julie, your friendship is a gift to me and Nancy Lee. We have been through every change and transition imaginable. You mentioned that on the video, from baptisms to confirmations, from medical challenges to the death of our parents, deployments, reunions, more deployments. We've covered it all. Julie, thank you for every gift that you have given me and shared with the staff. Barb Peterson, it's been a joy and privilege to serve with you. The gift of hospitality is a gift to us all. Barb, the weddings, the memorial services, the marriage courses, the early days of the strategic planning, along with Alan Bachman. And specifically, where's Barb? Just wave your hand. Barb. Back there. Okay. Specifically, it's been inspiring to watch you navigate the changes and the transitions of these past several years as the board chairperson. And I know that I'm going to hear about this, but it's not lost on me that today is your last day as well. And so, as you come to the end of your tenure as the board chairperson and the coordinator of hospitality, we just all want to thank you. So let's give it up for Barb. To the musicians, music has been at the absolute core of so much here. Whew. Yeah, it's been good. Hant, where are you? Yeah. Man, it has been a privilege to create music with you. To have touched even the hem of the garment of your musical legacy here at Prince of Peace is a profound gift to me. Thank you, my dear friend, Hant Hansen. And Bruce Becker, is Bruce Becker here? Yep, there you are, Bruce. Bruce, for every prelude, hymn, descant, every memorial service, every wedding, for bringing your music into every season of the church year, and for every time you pointed me back to the one who provides strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, I thank you. And to my bandmates and the singers, every note of every song we played and sang together helped create a transcendent moment for someone in the world to be met by God in this place. For every thriving musical moment, thank you. Speaking of thriving, thrivers, all 5 generations of you, you know who you are, over almost 60 people. Thank you for helping create a new language, the new language of Thrivera. We were just that close to the Lily Grant. But more to come for sure. But I want to thank you for your thriving work. And to all who helped create the Welcome the Seasons Thrivera project, the artists, the photographers, the editors, everyone who journeyed through, everyone who's reading now a third time. Wow, get a life. Holy cow. No, I'm deeply grateful. I'm grateful that that has touched you so deeply, and I thank you for that. And there's a note in my notes here. It says, now suck it up, Buttercup. To my family. Nancy Lee, thank you for being my life, my love, my everything. Thank you for our partnership together in all of this. When Nancy Lee and I arrived in November of 1995, we came as a clergy couple. 2 pastors, 1 household. We had so much fun with that. When someone would call our home and ask to speak to Pastor Gauche, Nancy Lee would respond, "Would you like the young one or the good-looking one?" And then there was a click on the other end. I love you, and I love that you're the good-looking one. When we found each other on the steps of Stube Hall at Luther Seminary, there were some things that we knew and some things that we didn't know. We did not know what joys would overwhelm us, what challenges would undermine us, what laughter would loosen us, and what tears would toughen us. There was no way we could have known what headaches would pound away on us and what heartbreaks would galvanize us. But we did know that we had each other, that God had us, and that was enough. Through it all, that's been enough. I love God's enoughness in our life together. And so, as you said, if it's half as good as the half we've known, here's hail to the rest of the road. And to Sarah and Travis, Soren and Bethany, thank you. Thank you for every breath we share together, for every joy we get to multiply, for every challenge we get to divide. God is good and faithful. And all of that has brought us to this holy ground today that we stand on together as a family. Sarah and Travis, Soren and Bethany, thank you for the Hoonies. Ruby Grace, Ryan May, Emily Joyce, and Manny and Gigi, and brand new baby Gino. 6 Hoonies. Hoonies. Let me hear you say it. I think it was Emily who once said, "Papa, you make your grandkids famous." Nothing I love more. And so to my family, thank you for loving me so deeply, trusting me so completely, teaching me so profoundly about God's love and grace. And finally, last but not least, to the Prince of Peace community near and far, thanks be to God for the living, breathing presence of Jesus Christ in and through every one of you in this place. Thank you for such a profoundly thriving relationship with each one of you. Christ has met us in so many holy moments at the font, in the waters of new life. Christ has met us at the altar, bread and wine. Christ has met us in the scriptures, in hospital rooms, living rooms, community room, and in this room. Thank you. Oh, thank you for your holy gifts of love. So friends, this is a thank you in advance. Thank you for making the commitment to the new staff that is being formed even now. One of the greatest gifts I've received in the last 30 years of my life is being so warmly welcomed and loved and trusted by you. My deepest desire for Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, the alive, living, breathing community of Christ in this place, is that you will do the same that you did for me for all who are here and all who are coming, because they are coming for sure. Love them well, trust them deeply, and enter in fully to all of the hoopla and hilarity that will follow. This is my story, and I am sticking to it. So it's good that you're standing for a blessing. I have two blessings for you, one spoken and one sung. After this spoken blessing, I do want you to be seated. But as I said this morning, this is the blessing that I've shared with countless people for 40 years. And I give this to you. Friends, as you go from this place today, go knowing that you are saved by grace. You're justified. You're forgiven. You are sought out. You are beloved. You are hidden in Christ and made for the glory of God. You are known. You're never forsaken. You are held in the palm of God's hand. You are loved. May God's peace and power go with us wherever we go. In the name of Jesus Christ, thanks be to God. You may be seated.
The last of his treasures and stacked the boxes in the hall. It's funny, he thought after all these years, it didn't seem like much at all. At every turn came a memory of how their lives had been touched by the one that they called their Lord, the one who loved them through so much. But there was just one thing that would not fit into any box he could find. It was much too big, and besides all that, it was meant to stay behind. And he sang, thank you, oh thank you, for your holy gifts of love, for sharing the wonder of the power from above. Now may the blessings of our Jesus' love fall fresh upon your life. May the presence of the Holy One fill your hearts with the fire of the Master's love. He took the name tag off his office door on Thursday afternoon. Thought of all who had blessed his life in the space of that small room. He heard the voices of the children singing praises to the Lord. Songs of hope to the mighty one, songs of joy to our faithful God. But of all the thoughts that crossed his mind, there was one he could not shake. The thought closed his eyes for a moment and felt the heartbeat in his chest. The holy rhythm of gratitude, thriving rhythms and feeling blessed. With open hands and a heart stretched out, he breathed a prayer of thanks for the gift of life and grace, for the gift of the Prince of Peace. And as he turned to leave with his heart so full, he was ready now to go. It was time to step into life, more life. And as he gently closed the door, he sang, thank you, oh thank you, for your holy gifts of love, for sharing the wonder of the power from above. May the blessings of our Jesus love fall fresh upon your eyes. May the presence of the Holy One fill your hearts with the Master's love. And we say thank you, oh thank you, for your holy gifts of love, for sharing the wonder of the power from above. May the blessing of our Jesus love fall fresh upon your lives. May the presence of the Holy One fill your hearts with the fire of the Master's love.
You can stay standing. Two things. One you know and one you don't know. College kid, graduated, first job. Sometimes I treated my first job like college. Stay a little up too late. Didn't make some meetings. Hey, Paul, are you in there? Came to my apartment because I'd missed a meeting. And I had stayed up a little bit too late with a friend of mine and thought it was still college, and it wasn't. You came in, and I think after 2 meetings I missed, you go, we're going to get you a calendar. So we went to Franklin.
Yeah, baby.
We drove to the Mall of America, and you got me a calendar, and you said, this is a calendar, Paul. If you have a meeting, you need to put it on there, be organized. You help me be as organized as I can be. The second piece is, through one of those crazy times we were together here, basically you were the only pastor. I had taken like 2 classes in seminary. And Joyce Besser walks into my office and she says, you're up. And I didn't know what that meant. She said, you're up. There's nobody else here. You have to do a funeral. And I said, I'm not a pastor. I don't even play one on TV. And they go, they're in the she goes, they're in the chapel, go now. And I thought to myself, and I sat down in my chair and I thought, what would Pastor Paul do? And I had to tell you, I've been doing that all the rest of my ministry life. Thinking, what would Pastor Paul do? You are the best for me. Through all my craziness and weirdness, your love and your grace grew me as a leader. I knew I could leave here and go lead because of you. And I knew I could come back here and lead because of you. So please don't go. So I can't imagine I'm the one doing this. It blows my mind. There's other people way more qualified than I to do this, but we are going to move into a ritual that's kind of a release of call. So we'd like to invite family to come on up. Come on up if you, I don't know if you guys are prepped for this or not, but